Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be the greatest day of your life. Once, a young man was asked to paint the boat of a rich man. The young man got some red paint brushes and began to paint the boat as requested by the owner. While painting, he discovered a tiny hole in the ship's hull and quietly fixed it. After completion of the painting, the man received the money for the paint job and left. The boat's owner showed up at the painter's house the next day with a substantial check, far greater than the painting payment. "You've already given me money for the painting your boat, sir," said the surprised painter, "but this isn't for the paint job, it's for repairing the hull of my boat." "But it was such a little service, it's not worth paying me that much for something so insignificant," said the young man. "My dear boy, you do not understand the significance of your act. Let me tell you what happened." Now, I had forgotten to mention the hole to my children when I asked you to paint the boat. When you were done with the paint, my kids took the boat and went on a fishing trip once the paint had dried. They were unaware of there being a hole. I was not there at the time to tell them, and when I returned, I had discovered that my children had taken the boat. I tried to contact them several times, and imagine my delight when I saw them return from their fishing trip. After that, I carefully examined the boat and discovered that you had repaired the hole. You see now what you did? You protected my children's lives. I do not have enough money to repay you for your thoughtful act. You know, I love this story. Think about this. How many times have you done little small acts and it's had a tremendous impact on other people's lives? I tell you, I always say, some people are just hanging on by a string, and you never know, you may just be that string. And we may have repaired many boat holes on our way, even without realizing how many lives we've impacted. Similarly, we may have fixed holes in our own boat without even realizing it, and by fixing ourselves, the impact that we've had on others has been tremendous. You're changing. You're making different choices. You're staying away from the negativity. You're putting fantastic things into your mind. Just wonderful things. You're reading all these books, and you are getting through to yourself that you can do anything, accomplish everything, and have the fantastic life it is that you want to have. It's 100% the truth. You can do it. You can't change other people, but you can change yourself. And by taking little, small, significant steps towards bettering yourself, you are bettering the world around you as well. When you have more money, you can spend more at businesses. Businesses employ people. There's many things that we do in our day-to-day life. We don't even realize the impact that we're having, but it can always just be tremendous. It can change your life. A lot of people know that I have a background in healthcare technology. In fact, software that I designed auto-adjudicates healthcare claims for 397 health insurance companies in the United States. That's roughly 97% of all the healthcare claims processed are automatically processed using this technology. And a lot of state governments are currently replacing their existing legacy systems that support their Medicaid claims payments with this product. And so when we first got started out as an organization, we had a very large healthcare payer in the United States that we had gotten some work for. And we were asked to come in and provide consulting services and to upgrade some systems related to claims adjudication. I remember we didn't have a lot of money back then. We were sort of a startup. We had investors, but we didn't have a lot of money for travel expenses and things like that. And boy, back then I was so tight, you could have stuck a piece of coal up my ass and I'd have crapped the diamond, you know what I mean? You've got to be that way sometimes when you're starting an organization. It's not all credit cards and all that kind of stuff. So I had to stay outside the city. I couldn't afford any of the hotels in the city. So it was a long drive for me to get into this healthcare payer every morning. And I always had to use the restroom. Every time I got there, it didn't matter. It was such a long drive. I'd drink a cup of coffee on the way into the office. And first thing I needed to do was make a pit stop when I got in. And it seemed like no matter what time I showed up at the office or what my hurry or urgency was, there was always cleaning staff cleaning the restroom. And it was always the same lady every day. And so I would get there, and eventually I just got to know her. And over time, I'd just knock on the door and say, "Hey, can I come in?" And she would let me in, and she'd step out into the hallway, and I'd do what I had to do. And then I'd come out, and she was just such a wonderful lady. I would just stand there and talk to her for the longest time. And we got to know about each other's families. Me, if you ever see me out in public, I'm always talking about my spouse and my children. And heck, my kids, we didn't even have Audrey then. We just had our oldest child. And so I would tell stories about her. And we were really big into trying to get her educated in reading at a very young age. And I remember talking about we did the program, Your Baby Can Read, and things like that. And I was talking about that with this lady, and she was a mother, and she would give me parenting advice, and she could understand where I was coming from as a new parent. And none of this had anything to do with what I was at this health insurance company to accomplish. I was there to run programs, meet with their executives, help them strategize, and work. But I would spend an hour every morning when I got into the office just standing around talking because the conversation was so good. As we progressed with this account, we kept getting more and more business. I was always offered the opportunity to share the value that our organization could bring to the table, which I always appreciated because we were trying to grow a company. And so after about a year of being at this company and doing great work and helping them out, we had a dinner function. I don't know if it was a holiday or what it was, but I was with the CEO of this health insurance payer and a few of their executives, and we were sitting at a table, and I said, "Listen, I just want to thank you, for the time and the attention that you've given to me. You've allowed me to represent my organization in a way that's allowed us to get more business, so on and so forth. And I just wanted to just say thank you." This man turned to me and said, "Doug, you're doing a good job here." He said that we were doing a good job as an organization. But he said, "The one thing that I really like about you is you have great character." And I said, "I have great character." I'm like, "Well, thank you very much." He said, "Yeah, every morning you come in and you spend time with my mom. And you know what? She looks forward to those conversations every day." His mother had suffered a traumatic brain injury. And so it just so happens that she had worked as a janitor in this role and had helped to put him through college. And they just ended up working at the same company later in life. He hadn't hired her or gotten her a job at the organization. In fact, I believe he had indicated that she had worked there for years before he had joined this company. But he appreciated the fact that every morning I would come in and talk to his mom and spend time with her. And she would tell him, this gentleman comes in. I had a brain injury too, right? I had a stroke, so we could kind of relate there, kind of correlate. And we had some common ground. But we would talk every morning, and he said, I just can't tell you, she looks forward to those conversations every day. And it kind of made sense because she was always there every morning. And maybe she was there waiting for me because she just wanted somebody to talk to. I mean, it just showed me the value of taking time to talk to people. It doesn't matter who they are, what they do for a living. You're not better than them. All right? We're all the same. We're all people. If you travel around the world, people are pretty much the same wherever you go. We all want pretty much the same things. The one thing that all human beings crave is compassion, love, and attention. You never know who you're talking to. And you never know how much they may have needed that conversation. I would give it all up, all the success, all the money. I would give it all up just for the opportunity to knowingly make a difference like that in somebody's life. I think back on that story about I would give anything to go back to those days when I would go in and talk to that lady every morning and I had no idea the value that it was providing me from an organizational or from a business standpoint. It just shows me the power and the impact kindness can have. Be kind to others. Do a little extra. Fix a hole in somebody else's boat. You just never know when they may need to float in that boat. You want to just care for other people as much as you can. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling this morning. I get a little emotional when I think back on that. That was a tough time in our life. When you're starting out and you have a lot of money and your life is on the line, and you have a lot of money on the line, you have a lot of money. When you have a lot of money on the line, you have employees, you have people that are dependent on your ability to provide future success. It was a tough time. It was challenging, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I'd go back to it tomorrow because it was a lot of fun. and we're gonna do big things moving forward too. This isn't it. So and you're gonna do big things also, and the challenge is gonna excite you, and you're gonna be so excited to do these things. Listen, friends, I want you to have a wonderful day. And I want you to think a little bit today while you're painting somebody else's boat or doing your day-to-day job. If you notice little things where you can provide some additional value, do it. You won't regret it. Just do the best you can. Keep moving forward. Read your goal card. Stay away from negativity, and you're going to have the best day of your life. I know it's true, and I care about you. I believe in you, and I know you can do it. You're worth it. Have a wonderful day. Take care.